Zhang Yi secretly repeated the word Delta in his heart. The superpower level given to him by Bian Junwu belongs to LV4 among the mutants, which is already a very high evaluation. Then there is Epsilon, the highest level mutant at LV5. When he said this, Bian Junwu's tone became serious. This is the strongest combat power in the world at present, the national treasure among national treasures. In addition to being able to devour the superpowers of other mutants, it also has extremely terrifying superpower strength. Every mutant of this level is a national treasure. Zhang Yi stared at Bian Junwu and couldn't help asking, "You are the inhuman of Epsilon level, right?" Thinking about how Bian Junwu killed thousands of zombies in one blow, Zhang Yi was still shocked. Bian Junwu smiled faintly but shook his head slowly. "No, I'm only at the Delta level." Zhang Yi couldn't help but take a deep breath. "Even you are only at the Delta level. It's hard for me to imagine how strong the inhuman of Epsilon level is." After listening to Zhang Yi's words, Bian Junwu suddenly laughed. "Oh, what's wrong? Is it that my understanding is wrong?" Zhang Yi asked. Bian Junwu shook his head. "It is indeed a little different from your understanding. In fact, the so-called superpower level classification has no absolute relationship with combat effectiveness. It represents more of an upper limit of ability. There are many types of superpowers, not only combat-attributed superpowers, but also auxiliary or other special categories. If the ability is restrained or the environment is not conducive to the use of the ability, it is not surprising that a high-level mutant is killed by a lower-level mutant." Zhang Yi nodded, and he also agreed with this. If superpowers are a weapon, then whether they can exert their power depends on the user of the weapon. He pointed to his nose. "So, your judgment of me is a Delta-level mutant, that is, LV4, right?" Zhang Yi suddenly laughed. "In other words, I am a mutant of the same level as you. You think highly of me." Zhang Yi picked up the teacup at hand and took a sip, but he was thinking in his heart. There was no need for Bian Junwu to deliberately conceal information. So there are only two possibilities for him to define himself as a mutant of the same level as Zhang Yi. First, although his ability is extremely powerful, it also has huge flaws. Otherwise, with that kind of potential lethality, it is definitely not comparable to Zhang Yi's current ability. Of course, if it comes to defense, that is another matter. Second, Bian Junwu saw the potential of Zhang Yi's space ability. Although the space ability is not an absolute combat attribute ability, its comprehensive ability is very abnormal. Not only is it an integrated attack and defense, but it also has a convenient auxiliary effect. From this point of view, it is more reasonable to be rated as Delta level. Bian Junwu said, "This is just a judgment based on my understanding of you. In fact, the level assessment of mutants needs to be divided by professionals in the region. This rating may not be absolutely accurate. It can only be evaluated based on the ability shown by the mutant. I just gave my empirical judgment based on your current performance. I think you are Delta level. So it is very likely that the mutant will complete the level transition of the ability. However, Delta is a critical point. If there is no co-devouring ability, then it can be determined that it is a mutant below LV3. After listening to Bian Junwu's introduction, Zhang Yi had a basic concept of the level classification of the ability. At least according to Bian Junwu's judgment, his ability potential is at the Delta level, that is, the potential of LV4. Although this does not mean absolute combat effectiveness, it also means unlimited potential. Zhang Yi is still quite satisfied with his ability. But then, he became very interested in the mysterious LV5, Epsilon-level mutant. How strong is a mutant of that level? Has such a person appeared in this world? Zhang Yi had some doubts in his heart, so he took this opportunity to ask, "Mr. Bian, have you ever seen a Epsilon-level mutant?" Bian Junwu shook his head slowly. "I haven't seen one." Zhang Yi was about to say, "That's a pity." Bian Junwu immediately said, but I know that there is indeed a Ypsilon-level mutant in Shengjing district. A light flashed in Zhang Yi's eyes. There really is such a person? As a mutant, Zhang Yi couldn't help but be curious about this existence. Bian Junwu smiled and said, "This is not a secret. After all, each district needs to manage the large areas around it after the end of the world. In order to deal with various mutant creatures and groups that take advantage of the end of the world to cause chaos, we must rely on absolute power to suppress them." When mentioning Ypsilon, Bian Junwu's eyes were also filled with admiration and envy. That person's ability is so powerful that it cannot be explained by common sense. It is said that anyone who is targeted by him will be killed by a thought, even if they are thousands of miles away. That is a true miracle. Zhang Yi almost dropped the cup in his hand. He widened his eyes and looked at Bian Junwu in disbelief. Are you kidding me? He can kill people from thousands of miles away? Is his ability a satellite-guided missile? Bian Junwu raised the corner of his mouth and looked at the snow scene outside the window. It's much more convenient than that. I only know that anyone he targets will die, and it won't work no matter where they run to. Zhang Yi held his forehead with his hand. He felt that his head was a little messy. This thing can only be explained by metaphysics, right? Bian Junwu said lightly. God himself likes to roll dice, so it's not surprising that this world will become what it is. In theory, there is still a final level of mutant energy, which is the legendary level 6, Omega level Inhumans. This level only exists in theory and has never appeared in the past. It's just that someone has proposed a form of Inhumans with unlimited growth space and unlimited power. At that level, it's probably a god in the true sense. As he was talking, he suddenly supported the table with one hand and covered his mouth with the other hand, and started coughing violently. The noise was so loud that even the table in front of him shook violently. Zhang Yi saw the water splashing in the cup and silently stepped back half a step with the chair. "Captain Bian, are you okay? Do you want me to call a doctor for you?" Bian Junwu coughed for a long time before stopping. He let go of his hand, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, which he wiped away calmly. This scene did not escape Zhang Yi's sharp eyes. "No, it's just an old problem," Bian Junwu said lightly. Seeing Zhang Yi's strange eyes, Bian Junwu just said disapprovingly, "I have a terminal illness, and I don't have a few days to live." He said it too calmly, as if he was evaluating the body of an insignificant person. "If it weren't for this, there would be no need for me to take the initiative to apply to lead the team to deal with such a troublesome problem." Zhang Yi's heart moved. It was exactly as he thought. The brother in front of him had major problems with his body. But was he suffering from a natural disease? Or was it a sequela of his superpowers? Or was he, like those modified people in the Shishan base, actually an artificially created mutant, so he had major physical defects? All kinds of speculation filled Zhang Yi's mind. However, it was not convenient for him to ask directly, because that must be a secret of the Jiangnan region. He could only say in a comforting tone, "Medicine is so advanced now. Cancer can be cured. What terminal illness can't be cured? My doctor is the attending physician of the First People's Hospital of Tianhai City. Let her check your body. Maybe it will work." Bian Junwu frowned and listened to Zhang Yi silently. Then he said, "You don't need to test me. I am a dying man. I came here this time just to make more contributions to the Jiangnan region before I die, in exchange for a better living environment for my wife and children after my death." As he said this, he actually took off the frog-shaped glasses he had been wearing in front of Zhang Yi. His face was abnormally pale, but his pupils were even whiter. It was a sickly grayish-white color, and the pupils could no longer be seen. There was a dead gray color that permeated the entire eyeball. My ability comes at the expense of my eyesight and health. This is why it can only be rated as a Delta level. Its fatal flaw makes me a super killer with a limited number of uses. Do you understand? Zhang Yi's guess was confirmed. Sure enough, Bian Junwu's ability is extremely harmful to the body. It can even consume his life. Zhang Yi was silent for a moment and sighed softly. So that's the case. But I didn't expect that you would tell me your ability so straightforwardly. Bian Junwu's face didn't show much expression. He just said in his usual calm but indifferent tone, "In the next operation against the zombie tide in Tianhai City, we need your cooperation. So it's crucial that we know each other's abilities. This is also to let you know that my abilities cannot be used unlimitedly, which will accelerate my death." Zhang Yi nodded. He also understood that Bian Junwu had something else to say. As the captain of the Jiangnan District dispatch team, he didn't worry at all that Zhang Yi would use his superpowers against him. First of all, Zhang Yi didn't dare to be an enemy of the Jiangnan District. Secondly, he was not afraid of death in his current state. Bian Junwu put on his frog glasses while speaking. "Now I am almost like a blind person, relying entirely on this auxiliary visual device to see things. Now I see you as a blurry figure emitting red light." Zhang Yi nodded. Bian Junwu put his hands on the table and mentioned the topic he had talked about before. "Are you interested in trying your luck in Jiangnan District? You have great potential and you may be able to advance to the level of Ypsilon in the future. The small Tianhai city will only limit your future." Zhang Yi was not very interested in Bian Junwu's solicitation. He smiled and replied, "I don't have any ambitions, and I don't want to be successful and famous and do something. I just want to live well with the people around me in the end of the world, and then wait for the restart of the world." He thought to himself, "If I go to Jiangnan District, I will be like you, running missions every day and fighting for life and death. I don't want to make trouble for myself." "Don't rush to refuse," Bian Junwu said. "The living environment in Blizzard City is much happier than here. In Blizzard City, people can live like before the end of the world. There are cities, streets, and bustling night markets. There are also comfortable apartments. These things, you can't experience them in Tianhai City anyway." Subscribe for more episodes.